There's a war you're fighting right now, and whether you know it or not, you're losing. Not with swords, not with armies, but with invisible enemies. Doubt, fear, a world that feels rigged against you. They tell you to work harder, stay positive, but what if the real battle isn't out there? It's in here. For centuries, the powerful buried Sun Tzu's secrets, not because they feared armies, but because they feared you. What if this book wasn't just about war, but about rewriting the rules of your life? What if the reason you keep hitting walls isn't lack of effort, but lack of strategy? What if the enemy isn't your boss, your bank account, or even your past, but the lies you've been taught about how the game works? So here's the real question. Are you ready to stop fighting blind? Insight 1. The mirror of self-knowledge. Picture a flawless mirror hanging in the temple of your mind, reflecting not just your face, but the hidden depths of your spirit, the strengths you ignore, the weaknesses you deny. Sarah was a hardworking teacher in Chicago, always trying to keep up with her never-ending to-do list. Her boss was harsh, never giving her a break, and she was constantly exhausted. But she kept pushing herself, telling herself she could handle it, until one day, a small argument with a student made her snap. Right there in the classroom, she burst into tears. She couldn't pretend everything was okay anymore. After that breaking point, Sarah started therapy. There, she finally understood she had been ignoring her own limits, trying to power through when she was already burned out. She wasn't failing, she was just human. Like so many people today, she had been trying to do it all, thinking she had to be perfect. Her biggest lesson? Real strength isn't about never slowing down. It's about knowing when to stop, take care of yourself, and ask for help. True success starts with being honest about what you can and can't handle. As Sun Tzu declares, if you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Pause here, dear listener. Gaze into your own mirror. What shadows do you avoid? In this quiet moment, feel the weight lift as self-awareness blooms, a gentle dawn breaking over your soul. But what if knowing yourself reveals an enemy within? Hold that thought. Our next insight might just arm you against it. Today, journal one strength and one weakness. Let it guide your next battle. Insight 2. The art of winning without war. Envision a mighty river that carves canyons, not through force, but by flowing around obstacles, reshaping the world in its patient grace. Raj was a software engineer in Bangalore, working in a competitive office where everyone was fighting for the next big promotion. But instead of stepping on others to get ahead, he took a different approach. He started grabbing coffee with his coworkers, listening to their ideas and finding ways to help the whole team succeed. When his boss noticed how well the team was working together, thanks to Raj, he got the promotion without ever having to stab anyone in the back. The lesson? In work or even family drama, you don't always have to fight to win. Sometimes lifting others up is the smartest way to rise. Sun Tzu whispers, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." Breathe in this truth. Your spirit yearns not for endless strife, but for the peace of clever surrender. Feel the rivers flow within you, washing away the need to conquer by force. Yet in a world of deception, how do you trust the path? That's where our journey turns shadowy. In your next conflict, ask, how can I win without a blow? Ponder it as we press on. Insight 3. The veil of deception. Like a chameleon in the ancient forest, blending with leaves to survive, deception becomes the soul's camouflage against unseen threats. Maria was a single mom in Los Angeles, barely making ends meet but too proud to let anyone know how much she was struggling. When a big job interview came up, she was terrified, but instead of showing doubt, she stood tall, spoke with confidence, and acted like she already had the job. And guess what? She got it. That one bold performance changed her life. We've all been there. Putting on a brave face for a first date, a tough meeting, or even just to get through the day. Sometimes faking it just long enough makes it real. Sun Tzu reveals, all warfare is based on deception. In the hush of your heart, embrace this veil, not as deceit, but as sacred protection. Let it shield your dreams until they're ready to bloom. But deception demands wisdom. What if the terrain itself betrays you? Let's explore that precipice next. Practice one small deception for good today. Hide doubt, reveal strength, and watch doors open. Insight 4. The wisdom of terrain. The earth as a living chessboard where mountains whisper strategies and valleys hide traps, teaching the soul to position itself wisely. Tom was a Texas farmer who kept losing his crops to floods. Instead of giving up, he took a closer look at his land, noticing which spots stayed dry when the rains came. So he moved his fields to the higher ground, and finally his harvest thrived. It's like when city folks pick the right neighborhood, safe streets, good schools, better jobs. Tom just did the same with his dirt. Sometimes a little observation turns trouble into triumph. No magic, just working smarter with what you got. Sun Tzu advises, he will win who knows when to fight and when not to fight. Feel the ground beneath your spirit. Stable, supportive. In this moment, align your inner landscape, finding peace in choosing your battles. Yet, without a strong leader, even the best terrain crumbles. Who guides your army? Hold on. Map your life's terrain. One high ground to claim this week.
Insight 5. The Flame of Leadership. An eternal flame in the heart's forge, igniting not just armies, but the dormant fire within every soul it touches. Priya, a determined woman in Delhi, saw her neighborhood suffering from dirty air and polluted streets. Instead of shouting orders or lecturing her neighbors, she did something simple but powerful. She shared stories. She talked about kids getting sick, families struggling to breathe, and how their community deserved better. Those stories stirred something in people. Soon, neighbors who never cared before were pitching in, cleaning up streets, planting trees, and demanding change. It's like coaching a kids' team. You don't just yell plays, you make them want to win. Or guiding family through tough times, not by bossing them around, but by helping them see what's possible. Real leadership isn't about control, it's about sparking that fire in others. Sun Tzu states, the skillful leader subdues the enemy's troops without any fighting. He captures their cities without laying siege to them. Kindle your inner flame now. Let it warm the cold corners of doubt, forging a leader from the seeker within. But leadership falters without timing. What if the moment slips away? Our path accelerates. Lead one small act today, inspire someone, and feel the ripple.
Insight 6. The rhythm of timing. Time is a cosmic drumbeat where the wise warrior dances to its pulse, striking only when the stars align. Alex had a great idea for a new app in San Francisco, but instead of rushing to launch, he watched and waited. When the tech market crashed, he held off. When things started looking up, he got ready. And when the next tech boom hit, that's when he released his app. The result? Success. It's like knowing when to pop the question, change jobs, or even buy a house. Sometimes the difference between meh and amazing is just waiting for the right moment. Impatience says now, but wisdom says when. Sun Tzu warns, he who knows when he can fight and when he cannot will be victorious. Listen to your soul's rhythm. In this breath, sync with the universe's flow, finding serenity in the wait. Timing needs intelligence, but spies? That's our shadowy turn ahead. Time one decision perfectly this day. Wait, then act. Insight 7. The Web of Intelligence. A spider's web, invisible threads gathering whispers from the wind, weaving knowledge into unbreakable strength. Lena, an investigative journalist in Mumbai, was determined to expose corruption, but she knew she couldn't do it alone. Instead of chasing flashy leads, she took a quieter approach, building trust. She sipped chai with clerks, listened to frustrated office workers, and slowly pieced together the truth from those who saw it firsthand. Months later, her patience paid off. The whispers of her trusted sources became hard evidence, and her story shook the city. It's a lesson that applies anywhere. Want the real deal on a job? A used car? Even school gossip? The best intel doesn't come from loud headlines. It comes from people who trust you enough to talk. Sun Tzu proclaims, "What enables the wise sovereign and the good general to strike and conquer and achieve things beyond the reach of ordinary men is foreknowledge." Weave your web gently. Let knowledge nourish your spirit, banishing the fog of uncertainty. Yet without unity, knowledge scatters. Can you rally your inner forces? Let's see. Gather one piece of intelligence today. Learn something new about a challenge. Insight 8. The Bond of Unity. An ancient oak tree, roots intertwined, standing unbowed against storms through collective resilience. When heavy floods hit their Indiana town, folks didn't wait for help. They became each other's help. Neighbors hauled sandbags together, shared generators, and took in stranded families. The grocer gave out supplies on credit. The mechanic fixed trucks for free, and by the time the waters receded, strangers had become family. It's like when life knocks you down, a layoff, an illness, a tough season, and suddenly you see who's really in your corner. Hardship doesn't just destroy, it reveals. And sometimes it builds something stronger than what was there before. So it turns out the flood didn't just bring water, it brought people together. Sun Tzu teaches, "He will win whose army is animated by the same spirit throughout all its ranks." Feel the roots of unity in your heart. Strong, connected, a sanctuary for the weary soul. But prolong the war and even unity phrase. Our final insight looms. Strengthen one bond today. Reach out. Unite. Insight 9. The Peril of Prolonged Struggle. A fading ember, once a roaring fire, dimmed by endless winds, reminding the soul that swift resolution preserves light. Jamal, an Army vet in Atlanta, spent years locked in a family argument. Who was right? Who was wrong? Who owed who an apology? The anger drained him, but he held on until one day he decided to let it go. Not because the other side won, but because he was tired of wasting time. The moment he chose forgiveness, everything changed. The weight lifted. Relationships healed. Suddenly he had energy for new dreams instead of old fights. It's like quitting a job that makes you miserable, or finally dumping that bad habit. The thing you thought was holding you together was actually holding you back. Sometimes the strongest move isn't standing your ground, it's walking away. Sun Tzu cautions, there is no instance of a country having benefited from prolonged warfare. Let the ember reignite. Release the long wars within, embracing the soul's swift healing. And now as our journey crests, what transformation awaits? End one prolonged war this week. Seek resolution. We've traversed 9 insights, each a step toward mastery. But pause, reflect, which resonates deepest? As we return to the battlefield's edge, ask yourself, are you the warrior now? We circle back to that vast battlefield of the soul, where once you stood amid doubts and fears. But now, the wars within have shifted, not conquered by force, but transformed by wisdom. The art of war, banned in shadows for 1,000 years, reveals its real reason, not to incite destruction, but to empower the seeker, turning personal chaos into sacred strategy. These insights, the mirror, the river, the veil, and more, weave a tapestry of inner clarity, reminding us that true power lies not in domination, but in harmony with the self and the world. Like a lotus rising from mud, your spirit emerges stronger, petals unfurling in the light of self-knowledge, flowing adaptability, and unified purpose. Sun Tzu's words, once hidden, now bloom eternally in your heart, a bridge between ancient battles and modern quests for peace. As Sun Tzu concludes, in the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. So, I challenge you, Seeker, in the quiet of your day, choose one insight and apply it to your greatest inner war. What opportunity will you seize? Reflect, act, and let it stir your soul. As this journey ends, carry a sense of peace, like the calm after a storm, where mystery lingers, inviting endless discovery. You've glimpsed the forbidden wisdom. Now, live it. Until next time, may your battles be few and your victories profound.